Hello, Abundant Empath community. I am so excited for what we have in store for you today. So, we are going to be joined by a very special friend, a client, an amazing soul. Her name is Jessica. And together, we're going to be sharing her story, something that I know all of you can relate to. We're going to be talking about purpose, this spiritual journey, what it feels like to take risks, to step into your confidence. And so in just a couple of minutes, Jessica is going to be joining us, and she truly has just stepped into this place of just honoring herself, knowing herself, walking with so much confidence and abundance. I don't want to get too far into the story without Jessica online, but there's so much more that we have to share with you today. This is your first time. This is our first time coming on live together, which hopefully the first of many, because you have such a voice and so much to share with the world and such a big message. And we're definitely going to today talk about your podcast that you started. You're looking radiant, by the way. I just have to say that.
Thank you so much. Might be the ring light, and it might just be because I'm talking with you and you always bring out the best in me.
You're looking and just vibrating at such a beautiful space today. So that's awesome. Well, first of all, Angela's asking, are you still there? What happened? We're still here. I don't know
I'm
what's
here.
going on from a tech perspective, but yes, we're still here.
See me?
We're still here. So we're gonna flow with it. We're gonna flow with it. So Jessica, first of all, just tell everybody a little bit about you, where you're from, just whatever you want to share, just a little bit about you.
All right. My name is Jessica Lynn Carney. I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Born and raised in Collinsville, a smaller town, but I have come into Tulsa when I was, young, as soon as I can, and just to expand and, grow my wings. And I've been finding out who I am creatively and spiritually, in this journey for a few years. And I came into contact with Kesley as I started to open myself up into, growing and understanding the universe and all the aspects. And now we're a little over a year in and just like flourishing. So happy to be here and connected with this community and with the Empath group, and just to, share my story as much as I can.
Amazing. And it has been such a journey. So as you said, we've been coaching together for a little while now, quite a few months. I know it was late last year for sure, when we first started coaching. And what kind of space were you in? Like, where were you at prior to coaching? What were you feeling, and what sort of stimulated that reaching out for a coaching opportunity?
Like I was saying, I came out of like a religious background, and so I'm a studier. Like, I like to educate myself regardless of just, what I am interested in. And so when I started digging in and really trying to find out who I was, I realized there was so much more that we are. And I had come across some of your videos, and you were talking about the universe working for us. And then you ended up reaching out and just saying things that really tuned into my heart. And so it really just sparked me to understand who I am as, a person, as a spirit, as a human being. And that really just triggered this like need and desire for education and understanding and knowledge in a whole sense. Whereas I feel like I had, for my own protection or just out of upbringing, just stayed kind of in what I understood or felt comfortable in. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that just started a lot of want.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. And I know a lot of us as empaths too, emotionally, we feel a lot. And sometimes when we're in that space before we've connected with a community, we sort of feel alone. So did you feel any of those emotions, or what were you feeling emotionally prior to this deep dive that you've recently done into yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. That was a big, I'm glad you brought that up, because that was a big deal for me. I had felt myself kind of untethering from other people, and I was with a counselor at the time, but she just, was in a different life space, and I just kind of felt that fading away, but she connected me with the untethered soul. And that really helped me to understand where I was, because I did feel like I was losing all of these traditional foundational friends, or, you know, family members, honest family members, blood, and like family members, you know, and feeling very alone for over a year. You know, I came out of a relationship I felt was toxic as well, not serving me anymore. I used to think that was a selfish term, and I realized it's not. How can I love and be powerful and wonderful if I'm not first doing that for myself, you know? And another thing that you helped me to kind of grasp hold of and not think it was selfish. And so when I came into the collective, it opened me up to these Zoom calls, to these moon, you know, these moon parties and things where I had friends and I had people to connect with, you know, including yourself. And so it helped me with our soul sisters and everything to kind of bounce things off of people I would have never felt comfortable doing that with, you know, just because we think, you know, we try to size things up, you know, and with these opportunities that you bring to us, and, you know, we have to choose to do it. It's out of our comfort zone regardless, but I kept choosing to do it because I knew, even though it was uncomfortable, it was going to be for my best. And then now I feel like I have a friend in you. I have made other friends, and it's opened me up to not be so alone and to understand how to use my empath, you know, in my empath, you know, skills to understand and be patient instead.
Yeah, and that's so true, right? And I hear that from so many women, especially empath women that I work with, that
Yeah.
there's been some loneliness on the journey. There's been this feeling of like, can I open myself up? Can I trust? Or this feels uncomfortable to come to a moon party or to a group coaching call and open up. But it's so healing, right? It's so
Yes,
healing.
it
It's
is.
like we have to break through those uncomfortable spaces and take the risks in order to gain the big rewards like you have on your journey. We're going to get to that in just a second.
Yeah.
First of all, tell me a little, or tell the group, right? Because I know there's a lot of people on the call who maybe haven't done coaching or haven't coached with me or have a hesitation about taking the risk. What was the process like for you? And maybe what was your biggest hesitation and what helped you sort of push on through to say yes to this journey of connecting deeply to yourself?
Well, I honestly was just tired of being alone, and I was also tired of like meeting the wrong people, you know, going out and trying to put myself in a atmosphere that wasn't primed and prepped for, you know, that expansion. You know, people's hearts have to be in that posture. You know, they have to be ready for that. And as a person who was ready for that, I kept trying to share that with other people that weren't ready for that. And then that kind of pulled me back and peeled me back a little further into that abandonment or rejection. And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And, you know, I was like, that's a limiting belief. And so I had to kind of push away from that. And I was like, you know what? You know, even if I have, you know, a few drinks to get me all, you know, ready before I get on, like, that's fine. And so I did. Like, I went and had dinner and a few drinks my first moon party, and I came back and I was like, let's rock. And then it just broke the ice for me, and that's just for me. But, like, it really did. And then after that, I was like, that was amazing. You know, I took notes, I meditated afterwards, and, like, felt myself, you know, really being elevated after that. And so I couldn't, you know, I didn't want to miss anymore.
That's amazing. What would you say have been the biggest shifts or tools that you've picked up or the biggest changes you've noticed in yourself?
Lord, well, first of all, starting this podcast that I started, I was not ready to do that at all. I just kept being like, what are you thinking? You know, like, you're silly, don't do it. And, you know, that changed a lot in me, you know, just stepping out and doing that. Not only buying everything you need, the equipment, all that stuff, but really getting on there and not being scared of what you'll sound like or messing up. You know, I had to just like step out and do that. So that was the biggest, well, not the biggest, that was a huge thing, but like my thought process, you know, like my thought process is completely changed on, you know, how things are working out. So, you know, if the universe is serving you and like things are working out for you, then the victim mentality is no longer necessary. It's no longer valid. And so I had a million reasons to be a victim, but I didn't like being a victim. But, you know, things trigger you to operate in that victim mentality. So when I started addressing my thoughts the way, you know, I was learning from the collective and from our soul assignments, it triggered me to like fight back for myself. So I felt a trigger. Okay, emotions. Okay, I see you. Valid. but like, do you still want to stay there, or are you going to be something better? So I moved from that into like, you know, what, 6, 8 months later even, and into like, I trigger someone else and now I react to help them peacefully. Okay. I don't have to protect myself anymore. I can react in a way like, oh shoot, I triggered them. Compassion.
Yeah.
Instead of, well, you triggered me too, you know? And so those are my favorite things in me that I've seen. And of course, that goes much deeper.
That's so beautiful, because what I'm hearing you say is that emotional, like you're emotionally open, right? Your heart is as open, and I feel that from you, as it's ever been. But it's this space of emotional response versus just reacting out. That pause, feel, choose that we always talk about. And you probably didn't, you know, like you probably didn't even think to say that anymore to yourself because it's so ingrained in you, right?
That's it. That's it. That really is true. The first time I heard that, I'm thinking, oh yeah. So it just, you know, kind of reminds me of like that woo-saw, that meditation moment, or even like karate where you're just like slow and precise, you know? And I was like, cause I'm an athletic person, so I, you know, I have to, and so, yeah. And I continually just use that. And like you said, I don't even have to hear your words anymore, because it used to be Kesley, hospital choose. And I'm like, okay. And you know, but now you're right. It is. I was like, dang, okay. Yeah, I don't want to do that to them. You know, like I don't want to be this.
And like you said, you're responding from this space of an internal knowing of, will this really serve me? Will it really serve me in the end to respond this way? Or is there a better way to do it that allows me to stay connected to my light and love and all the beautiful purpose and all the beautiful things that you're so connected to? So I want to talk specifically about the podcast a little bit more, because when we originally met, that was one of the goals that you had. And I remember our first meeting, we actually did an astrology session for you, just like I do for all my clients who are part of the group. And we looked at some different signatures, and I remember saying, like, you have a big message to share. You have your Mercury conjunct your sun. You are here with a big message. And I remember within a couple, I don't even know, it was like what, 2-3 weeks after you had launched your podcast?
Yeah.
What was it? Like, what shifted in you? What do you think was ignited, or what happened that got you to move so quickly? Or was it just the amazing Capricorn that you are? Like,
it does have a lot to do with the Capricorn, I think. And, you know, being on the cusp with the Sag and Cap. But honestly, no, it's like I was so thirsty for something. I was starving for, you know, a purpose. You know, I'm purpose driven, and that is kind of cappy, but like, I just am, and I want to have purpose for others. You know, I don't like just living for yourself. That feels gross and like drying, you know? So it was just like when you read the astrology birth chart to me and it linked up to like actually who I am, it helped me to shed shame off. It helped me to shed like false humility, you know, like it helped me to shed things that were basically like boundaries or chains that I had put on myself or let the words of others create on me, and was like, oh yeah, that's probably true, because you know how we judge ourselves as well. But yeah, it was just when I saw that in the stars it spoke about who I am, I'm like, wouldn't that be rude to deny God? You know, like, so let's do that. And who cares about my opinion anymore? Who cares about, you know, people who are close to me's opinion? If God and the stars and astrology, the universe is for me, then man, no one can be against me, especially myself. You know, like I gotta get with it. And so I really did. I just took that as fuel and was like, I can't lose then. This is true.
yes. Oh, and it just lights me up every time we talk about it, because you just have come so far and you're a bright, shining light. You have so much to share. I would love for you to tell people a little bit more about your podcast. Y'all need to check out Jessica, her podcast. She has just so much light to put into the world. So tell us all about the podcast, Jess.
Shoot. Okay. Yeah. I started this podcast a few months ago during this journey when I seriously got lit up with Kesley. And so what I'm doing is like, I've been going through my soul assignments and just sharing where I'm at. And, you know, I'm asking as a community that you respond back, whether you agree with me or not. Like, I want to learn perspective. I want, to gain knowledge. And so this is what this is for. So I'm getting on there sharing my journey. We're 15 episodes in and counting. And I want you to come on and join and subscribe and share. We're on Instagram at That Juice is Good, 3 O's, and Twitter at That Juice is Good. And just come and listen to some juicy goodness, because I'm trying to find all the juice and all the goods and everything that comes at me in life, and I think that is purpose. So thank you, Leslie.
And that is heart-aligned purpose. And
yes.
It was so cool to watch it take shape and to see what it's become, that when you were forming it, it was like, once you connected with that inner knowing, and I know a lot of us get in our way because we're like, well, we don't see the whole path yet. But once you connected with that inner knowing, it was like roadblock, like you were just like bursting right through everything. It was like, well, I don't have the logo. Bam, like the next week it was done. Well, I'm not sure what to call it. Bam, it was done. I don't have the equipment. Bam, it was done. I mean, you just flew through everything. And it just felt like once you aligned and locked in to what you knew that purpose was, everything else just bam, 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 flew into place. Is that accurate, or it was different in your shoes?
No. I'm so glad that you mentioned that about intuition, because that's another huge monumental thing for me. Like, I've always felt like I had that connection with my intuition, with spirit, but I've let other things kind of like be, other people kind of talk me out of it. And within this journey, it's like, I've started being like, I trust it. I'm going to trust it. And if I get, smacked in the face, then I'm like, okay, then I'll go back and look. But like, I'm trusting it. And since I've been trusting it, it hasn't, failed me. It hasn't stopped. It hasn't deterred. And so I just really started, making sure and being self-aware of who I am, my actions, all that goodies. And then everything else just falls into place as I've just like begin to trust the peace and the intuition within me.
Absolutely. That is so key. Amazing. Well, Jess, this has been so much fun. You have so much to share. And is there anything else that you just like those who might watch this to know or to hear, or anything else you'd like to say or share?
Oh man, I just want anyone that is feeling held back or feeling like they don't have what it takes or can't make it happen, whether it's like emotionally, financially, whatever it is, take the risk, take the step, and, do what your heart like really is for. Because, keeping up with the Joneses and living life like this, like me and Kesley have both been there and been like really good at it, but we just know where importance is in life and where like, real fruit and real goodness is. And I just encourage you to follow people like Kesley and myself, and just find friends like this. That's what really matters. Your surroundings, your atmosphere, the friendships you hold. I find that is like key.
Yeah, your circle is magic for sure. And I'm so glad that our circles intersected. It has been amazing. Thank you so much, Jessica. I hope that you'll drop any links that you want to in the comments so that people can find you, can follow you, and can just reap all that goodness that you have to share.
You got it.
All right.
You're
anything
awesome.
else, my dear?
No, I thank you so much for all the time we have together and everything that you've sowed into me. You're an amazing, powerful woman. I'm so thankful to know you. Much love,
sister. Keep walking in your light. Sending you much love. I'll see you soon, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Bye, my dear.